What is good, YouTube? We got a video by a newcomer, Honored Clarity, animation versus choreography. Before we get started, make sure y'all boys like, comment, make sure y'all build a community, help give it one of the 3 good deeds that you must do by the end of today. And you feel me? When you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell. We're gonna lead this as a toss up. We're gonna see how good the video is, see if we want to subscribe. And then once we subscribe, we're gonna have to hit the bell so we don't miss out on these types of videos. Make sure I do the same for me. Make sure you check your Twitch to make sure not only are you follow up, but you have notifications on so you don't miss the movement. We're going to be looking at animation versus choreography by the boy Honored Clarity. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Is good animation.
本当にカマキリみたいなやつだ
Yeah.
And
One of the best anime fights animated when it came out, for sure.
this is good choreography.
Look at the movement. This guy a high school level parrying, boy.
The two get mixed together as one because oftentimes either one can overshadow the other, making it feel like one entity. But there are key distinctions that make these two so obviously different, you're gonna realize you've been watching these all wrong. Well, maybe not all wrong, because this is exactly what some animators want you to think. With extreme budgets and long hours for animation, you can only imagine the stress and difficulty it takes to produce a masterclass fight like this. But is this fight mostly good animation, good choreography, or both? Well, just because it looks smooth doesn't mean
I think, like we talked about in our reactions before, I think the best fights are when choreography meets animation. Animation can be peak. I mean, I've never really seen where animation's peak and choreography's but animation can be peak, choreography can be okay, and it can be really like seen as good. Choreography can be peak and animation can be okay, and it can be seen as good. But I think those je ne sais quoi moments, those bonjour oui oui, those peak moments occur when animation is peak or at least above average and choreography matches it. Those are the moments that are like, oh, this is one of the greatest fights of all time.
mean the animation is good. And just because the animation is good doesn't mean the choreography is either. You have to ask yourself, what's actually happening on screen? Are we just watching some squiggly lines that look vibrant? Or are we watching two individuals trade punches in an impactful manner? To differentiate between the two, let's first define them. So what is animation? Well, animation is the art of creating the illusion of movement by displaying a sequence of static images or frames rapidly one after another. It's not just about making something move, it's about how it moves. Is it smooth? Is it visually appealing? Does it feel like it meshes well in the world with everything else? Versus choreography, it refers to the careful planning and arrangement of movements, particularly in fight scenes, to create visually engaging and dynamic sequences. So in simple
I like the way he has background music, and I like the way he's explaining this. I mess with a content creator that can really break it down and keep you engaged.
terms, choreography is the design of movement with purpose. It's not just about two characters clashing, but more about tactics, emotion, and the story behind it. It answers the question, why are they moving this way? What are they trying to achieve? And how does each action change the outcome? Think of animation as a style and choreography as a substance. One without the other is just another element, but when used in tandem, can create visual art. So now that we know the differences, let's put them under the microscope. This scene broke the internet when it aired, and visually, it's insane. The flames, the threads, this slow-mo leap while the music swells is basically peak anime cinema. But let's pause and ask, what are we actually looking at? The animation is top tier, the camera is dynamic, the effects are dazzling, and the transitions are seamless. But strip away the flashiness and the polished design and really understand what
I normally don't accept message requests, but that's peak. Maybe I'm tweaking and I don't see anything in chat. But hey, that's Pete. Hold on, I'm reloading chat. Sorry for those of y'all watching on YouTube. I just got a message from somebody who's in the stream. Can I make sure it's not a bot? It's not a bot. She's an artist. There was another artist person that contacted me from chat last time. I don't know if you got heart emojis and I got a girl. Can't do that one.
Tanjiro is doing. He's not just slicing wildly, he's adapting. timing his breathing, syncing his movements with Nezuko and Tengen to pull off combos they've never done before. Choreography is telling a story about desperation, teamwork, and most importantly, survival. The animation makes you feel it, but the choreography makes you understand it. And if this scene was all flash and no meaning, just Tanjiro doing flips for no reason and swinging his sword senselessly, it wouldn't have hit the same. But because the motion matters, and every move pushes the fight forward, it executes emotionally.
DMC? Oh. I see one arm and I think DMC, bro. I'm not gonna hold. See that metallic arm? Oh, this is the guard. Not sponsored. He talking to me though.
Technically. With animation recently, there's been an influx of studios who produce at a high quality to keep up with the demand and compete with the top titles in the space. It used to be that only the best shows had the highest production, but now even comedy isekai got top tier animation.
Yeah.
And for many popular shows, you tend to see the more generic copy and paste style that fits your typical anime. Until you're
See, I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, I feel like another thing that can make an anime really like pull you in as a viewer is when it has that unique style, whether that be animation or a feel to it. But when you copy and paste that like art style, that like filter style on like the background, you get that generic feel that's like, I can't call it from the goats. I'm just watching it to watch it. You feel me? And with those, story really has to carry, or like power system, something has to like keep you drawn in.
Met with something like Demon Slayer, Dandadan, or even Blue Lock. Each of these displays a different style of animation that's unique to only their respective anime. And I know Blue Lock may be a bit of a head scratcher since the last season had extremely questionable slideshows, but they still cook when they need to. Towards the end of the season, they made up for the issues going on with the production team, but not just with the animation, the choreography as well. Many people categorize this as just really good animation, but these scenes are more than just visual dopamine hits. They make you feel something in a way that animation can't do alone. The final 2 episodes had textbook definitions of choreography. Rin losing his mind and going at it with his brother. Their movements mimicked that of their past selves, as well as who they were trying to become. Every time Rin moved, it wasn't just to win, it was to
See, when you can analyze it to this level, you really watch the show. Because I don't even think this is like crazy, like, I don't think he's reaching. Some people like analyze something and it's like, I guess this isn't a reach, this is what it symbolized. And the choreography has to fit that. Like the character and who they are, just a move that they would make, what are they trying to accomplish, things of that nature. While the animation, it's kind of like the quality that keeps everything up to par, and sometimes represents like the settings, feel, and the mood, and what we want you to pull from this. Like, oh, this person is doing a demonic act, but it's like very bright here, very cheerful setting. They're like demented, versus like a grimy setting. You know, they want to hide what they're doing. These things are very light and important touches that affect the nuances of how you perceive what's happening.
Rewrite the old narrative of just being the little brother. He wasn't chasing the goal, he was chasing dominance. And the way his body moved with such sharpness, precision, and anger reflected that. And then you have Isugi, who starts mirroring these movements as well. Not because he wants to follow Rin, but because he wants to consume him. And this is exactly the kind of layered choreography people miss when they're just focused on the flashy animation. The animation sells the flash with Isugi and his adaptive final goal, but the choreography shows the calculations of every step, every decoy, and every doubt in his mind leading him to this exact moment. So can you imagine if you decided to stop watching because of the style of this season? You would have missed out on the best adaptation of a sport in the last 5 years. And I mean, animation styles can be the difference maker for whether or not someone sticks around for the show. I mean, you can have the best story, set of characters, and power system, but if it's not visually appealing, nobody cares. Titles like T-Bait and Tower of God are excellent examples. Each of these mon will have
Oh my god, bro. T-Bait is so peak. I heard animations, but looking at it, it's but you know how many 12 episode animes I've watched with this type of animation? Which I get why people are like hating on it, because it's one of the ones. It's not supposed to have this type of animation. But I'm personally not going to tweak about it, because we haven't seen the impact frames. We haven't seen, you know, maybe they changed it during the time skip, things of that nature. So I'm gonna just
have some of the best
You feel me?
stories,
Hear it
even
out.
better than its more popular counterparts like Solo Leveling, but the animation is just piss poor. But Solo Leveling has executed the animation choreography combo
choreography,
flawlessly from its initial release. The story does not matter because it feeds that one thing the vast majority can appreciate: eye candy. I mean, just look at these visuals. It's near impossible to think that something like this would not be popular, regardless of how much better the writing is. With
Yeah.
that, it raises the question: Can an anime have horrible animation but still have great choreography? Well, yes.
Yeah.
In fact, the biggest titles are guilty of this.
That's what I'm saying. It goes both ways. It can go either way. Like you can have like a show with the best animation compared to choreography. You can also have shows with like the best choreography and due to animation. A lot of the older anime have peak choreography, but the animation, I mean, it was peak for its time, but now it's like, ah. But to me, I don't consider that bad animation either because it's unique. Unless it's obviously like on potato quality. But you can get that mix of like having a unique style with supplements. You know, animation can be mid, but a unique style, the animation seems different, and sometimes it appears to be like a diamond in the rough. So if animation style is good and it's unique, check. That's an A+ for that section. And if choreography is there, that's an A+ for that section. And when you fuse those two, you don't just get an A+, you get an S rank. You feel me? It becomes that one.
This exact formula. Naruto, One Punch Man, Berserk,
Yeah.
and even Dragon Ball
I haven't
Super.
seen
With
Berserk,
Naruto,
unfortunately.
there are certain fights that have amazing sequences, like his fight versus Pain. They use creative movements, impact frames to capture the severity.
Unsponsored.
But if you truly nitpick at this fight, the animation was pretty bad.
At some
Aside from the
points,
basic
yeah.
pausing and seeing horrible frames, the entire fight was camouflaged by the actual fighting itself. Just give it a second and it'll make sense. When giving the animators more room creatively, they use less polish and add more meaningful movement that will have a higher impact on what's actually happening on screen. Because the truth is, clean lines are optional, but the clarity of the motion is not. Take One Punch Man Season 2 for instance. The budget took a nosedive, the frames got chunky, and people yelled animation downgrade. But if you watch Garo's alley fight, it tells a different story. The camera barely moves, the lighting's low, yet every dodge, sweep, and counter tells you exactly who's controlling the tempo. That's choreography carrying bad animation. The same deal with Dragon Ball Super's early episodes.
True.
Remember when Goku fought Beerus in space? The characters were wobbly, but the timing of each ki blast volley still sells Beerus testing Goku, forcing him to stretch further and further. Going from the movie to this was brutal, but understandable from a budget standpoint. There really is no point in spending money on something twice when you can get the same message across. And then there's 2016 Berserk. CGI nightmares aside, look at Guts' footwork in these scenes. The sword arcs are deliberately huge so you can feel the weight. The camera cuts wide so you can read the spacing. Ugly frames, but the choreography respects the characters fighting. So the scene works well if you squint past the PlayStation 2 textures. So when dissecting the differences with animation and choreography, there are a few key takeaways. Read the intent behind it and not just the pixels. If you can follow and see the goal behind every movement, then chances are choreography is
Yeah, like Naruto is really good with that. Like, he stole that out of Obito's bag, using someone else's hand for a jutsu.
winning. And if it's much simpler but beautiful with unimpactful movement, then animation is winning. So the next time you're watching a fight scene and your thought is, this looks insane, pause. Ask yourself, is it just pretty or is it saying something? Because when animation and choreography actually work well and style meets the substance, you get the scenes that do more than just look good. You get moments that actually push the story and the characters forward. And that's the difference between a good and a great one. And once you start seeing it like this, you'll realize it's not just about what moves on screen, it's about why it moved. Because in anime, motion is connected to emotion, and the best scenes don't just show you the fight.
Motion is connected to emotion. You see the hook he using? He giving us a call to action right here. This is textbook excellent content creation.
Like, they make you feel.
I was standing right there. You just cut it like that. Okay. Animation cool. He's cut it right there. Okay. But he's talked about this concept before. Let me give him a follow. And you feel me? He's a melanated brother. I give you a follow, gang. Make sure y'all turn notice on. That's my reaction to animation versus choreography by Honored Clarity. Make sure y'all boys do at least 3 good deeds today. Make sure you're sipping on some agua. And make sure you get some sun. Touch some grass. That's it for me. Peace.